Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever live broadcast of Splendid Isolation with me, Steve Day. I'm broadcasting from from my bedroom in Sutton Coldfield. But on this suspicious occasion, I thought I'd get dressed up. So I've worn a dinner jacket and like the first broadcast of BBC television. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a bow tie, so there's not that. But you'll see I'm wearing these big cans. That's because my hearing aids, which I normally wear. I should introduce myself, people. You don't all know me. I'm Steve Day. I'm Britain's only deaf comedian. If there are any others, I haven't heard. Which is a joke I've done. I think 200 gigs, more than 20 years. So, God, 4,000 times, and never gets old. and that's it. So there'll be more jokes. There'll be crapper jokes than that. But I've had a busy day. I've been panic buying a lot of shopping trolleys while they're still £1, and I'll make a killing on those. It's been mental. It's been mental. People queuing up people pretending to work for the NHS so they can go to Tesco's to get some early stockpiling. I mean, Iceland were doing a thing for old age pensioners, so I lied about my age and got some stockpiling in there. Oh, I've got a load of toilet rolls behind me over there. The point of the show is just to be online and anybody chip in or whatever and say anything you like. Also, I'm not gigging, and I used to be a stand-up comedian, and I'm not standing up anymore. I'm sitting down, so I might as well sit here. But I should count my blessings, because I'm not. Even though I don't have any symptoms of COVID-19, whatever it's called, I'm going around as if I had, in case I give it to someone else, and that's a sensible thing to do. But there's people in. I was in the park, but me and my wife went to the park, but we were walking dogs, and we were in isolation, but so more than 6 feet away from anybody else at any time, and everybody else seemed to think that was a stupid idea, and they were congregating, and the people in shops and all that, absolute nutters. I think in 2 weeks' time they're gonna feel bad about. Well, I know the people don't feel bad, do they? I think in some ways it's almost like different species. I don't know where these people get their information from. Certainly not from where I'm getting it from. Anyway, but that's not the point. The thing is to try and be upbeat, and if you can, and have a bit of a laugh. But I've got so many jokes for my set, and who knows whenever comedy, live entertainment will start again. So they're probably all going to be junk now. So I would say I'm Britain's only deaf comedian. If there are any others, I haven't heard. I've had a terrible day. Well, because it's Sunday, I have to change it. But I had a terrible weekend. On Friday, I got into a fight with a bloke in a bank. Turns out what he was actually saying was, your account. And then go from there. So I mean, that's sort of classic. So I've been writing some new jokes in case it was used. For example, I checked into a hotel, and it's quite posh. It's quite posh for me anyway. And the woman on the reception, she's lovely, and she was filling in the registration. And she said, she asked me, she said, first name? I said, Stephen. She said, PH? I said, 7.4. It's all that will be lost now. All these jokes will be lost in time, like tears in the rain, and probably for the better. I think most people are thinking, but that's just the way it goes. This is really like a test today. It's only going to be about at the most half an hour. If I can keep going, I don't know if I can, but and then each day do a bit more. And I've got loads of friends. I work with lots of other kind of abnormally funny people, a troop of disabled comedian to sort of do a show. So by necessity, a lot of them will be have underlying conditions, you know, that sort of thing. So like all my friends, basically, or a large proportion of them are currently in lockdown for what are they saying now, 12 weeks. So and those people are massively talented, and they're sort of locked away. So I'm gonna invite some friends on, somebody every day, and to come and have a chat and try to entertain you. That's going to be the point of it, really. Some more jokes that will never be used for my set. Well, these are almost like true stories, and you've got to keep things in perspective. I know I said that, and it's true, because I don't have any symptoms there, and I expect probably will catch the virus. So trying to put it off for as long as I can, and deafness is not really it's not really a sort of like special danger when it comes to this virus, So I mean, it's a pain in the arse. I'm not profoundly deaf, though. I mean, if people don't know, I'm what they call severe profound, about 80%. Though sometimes I say I'm 85%, just to add a bit of glamour. And people don't believe. People don't. You see, someone come up to me once and said, "You're not deaf. I've seen you wearing a suit." Which is luckily I could think of a clever answer. I quoted Oscar Wilde. I said, "Fuck off." So there's not going to be a lot of swearing, a bit, don't be put off like that. I was actually putting together a show for Edinburgh this year, which probably won't go ahead now, for a disabled theme show that was kind of irreverent, and it was going to be called Disabled Cunts. That's CANTS, and it was going to be every day a different lineup with, well, probably me compare at start, and then different, people coming on. Somebody established. There's quite famous ones now. There's, for example, my friend Chris McCausland. He's blind. We've got to be friends for that one reason, really. I mean, I wouldn't say I would be his friend anyway, but because we're always, in the early days anyway, we were always put on the same bill together. And, deaf bloke, blind bloke, and all that. And I've known Chris for 15 years. People ask me, is he any good? And all I can say is, well, in 15 years, he's never seen me, and I've never heard him. So that's your answer to that one. And then the other one of the three of it is properly famous, is Lee Ridley, Lost Voice guy who won Britain's Got Talent. Who we were always working together, the one who can't hear, the one who can't speak, the one who can't see, but Lee now is too famous. You see, now he won't work with us now. Yeah, told us to fuck off. Yeah, well, his laptop did anyway. So it's a growth area, disabled entertainment. I'll tell you that. You want to find your inner. You find your inner spasmo and work it. It's the thing these days. So when this is all over, if it's all over, that will be that's the thing I'm going to do. So that Edinburgh show that probably won't go ahead this year, I'll try and do it in a way on here. I don't know if that's possible and all that. So so I've been on for 9 minutes. So I can't tell who's. I've got 3 people watching, which is brilliant. This is pretty good for an Edinburgh show. That would be a good first day number, And anyway, well, there are other things that have struck me this week. For example, you've got to wash your hands for 20 seconds, and it's this and that, and some of the things are quite hard. It's shadow puppetry. And the stuff, and it's quite, and then this, and your wrists like you're on Holby City or something, and I found that hard. Actually, washing my fingers are a lot thinner now after washing my hands so many times, and it's like sandpaper. But it struck me like this, that if you were spending that time washing your hands, you might as well do the washing up instead. I mean, 20 seconds, that's just do the washing up. So I did that, and I told my family, and don't do that never tell your family that you love doing the washing up, because the next morning I came downstairs and the sink was just full of dishes, of things that had been in bedrooms with cultures growing on them that had been there for about 6 months. And so that was foolish on my part to do that. Right, well, I'm going to take you on the tour of the house now. We live in St Colford, and I'm in the bedroom at the moment. So I'm gonna unplug this, and I'm gonna see if I can find family members to embarrass, because I think I'm a dad. I've got 5 kids, and 2 of my kids are stepkids. But the fact that they're stepkids makes no difference to the way I feel about them. They are just as fucking annoying as the other 3. And so we're going on a move. Ignore, there won't be mess. My mouth very tidy, but we're going to go on a tour of the building. So right, if you follow me on the stair. I hate these. If it's going to get dark, so I should have put a light. I should have thought of this. And okay, right, in a dark hallway. There we are. Oh, there's no one in there. We'll go in the kitchen. That's where it all happens. Right. I hope you're following this. It's that, isn't it? So I'm broadcasting live, and that's my wife. Give it away. That's my wife wondering what the hell was going on. Nothing doing that. And my son, Cameron, is. Goodbye, Cameron. Cameron hasn't got. We live in such poverty. Cameron hasn't actually got any clothes, and just walks around naked for most of the time. So, what are you watching?
I don't know.
You don't know. She doesn't know what she's. Some old crap. My wife likes. My wife likes things like. Britain's Got Talent and Housewives of Atlanta, and it's just utter shit. I mean, honestly. So, but you get the and dogs. This is Otis. Where is it? Otis, say hello. Give it a bit more enthusiasm than that. That was Otis, and Milo over here. Say hello, Milo. That was Milo. Milo's 14, so he doesn't really do anything. He just sits there. Right then, we'll go into the front room studio. I'm getting a bit dizzy now. You're 2 people watching the first ever broadcast of Splendid Isolation with me, Steve Day. But what I need to say is that what I wanted to say, my dad died a year and a half ago, and that was painful, and it teaches you to try to live in the moment and make the most of things. And that's what I'm trying to do in this COVID thing. All my work's gone, and the career that I had and worked in for more than 20 years, have to assume for an indefinite period that it's over. And I actually wrote a show about my dad called Adventures in Dementia, which I hope at some point I'll perform in full on here. And it's a relief though when someone with dementia dies. It really is. It's a relief that his suffering was over and that we no longer had to shell out for the hospital car park. Because I tell you what, £4 a fucking hour at Watford General, and it's sad that my dad. We're from Stevenage, our folks are from Lowestoft and East Anglia, but we lived for most of our lives in Stevenage in Hertfordshire. And my dad ended up in hospital in Watford, which he would have absolutely hated. He hated Watford, and he ended up there. But I mean, by then he didn't really know where he was, so. it didn't really make any difference. So when I've been through something like that, my dad had dementia for more than 8 years, and that really was an extended darkening tunnel of pain that you knew wasn't going to get any better until he died. So in comparison, this is less, and also the fact that it's shared between so many other people that a problem shared and so on. It's very true. Sorry, that's got a bit deep, hasn't it? So I'm trying to think of some more. For example, this is a true story. My here where we live, my car was parked outside during one of the storms. That when they started giving names to storms, they got worse, didn't they? The storms kind of got a bit up themselves and thought they were better than they were because they'd got billing now. And I think it was Storm Brendan, I think so. He a tree outside our house was, got blown over in the storm. A horse chestnut tree, for people who like specifics. It fell on my car, and the car was written off. Volkswagen Golf. It's a nice car, but the tree fell on it, and absolutely ruined it and hit the bonnet. Lots of people have said, "Well, yeah, but you're lucky you weren't in it." I'm over 50 years of age. I haven't climbed a tree in at least 40 years, so that was hardly likely, was it? So the other thing here, now I'm in the front room, which reminds me, I try and steer clear of being given stuff. I mean, I do bang it on the deafness when necessary. I must admit, I do. But I was a local charity were keen that I should have a deaf doorbell. It's a doorbell for deaf people, not a doorbell that can't hear. I suppose most doorbells are deaf, aren't they? But a doorbell that it flashes the lights in the house rather than rings the bell. And but I didn't want one. I didn't want it. But they said, "Well, yeah, but your kids might be outside, and you wouldn't know they were there." Well, I'll tell you what, that served me well for the last 40 fucking years, or more, 20, more like. And anyway, so they sent someone round to. I mean, the dog goes mental. We got a border collie. He pays 20 quid a week. No, but they sent someone round to fit my deaf doorbell, and of course, when they came round to fit my deaf doorbell, I didn't have a deaf doorbell. So, and then they tried to make out that it was my fault that the fella was outside for an hour and a half. That's not, is it? How that could be my fault, I don't know. So there you go, a little snippet of life from here in Day Towers in Sutton Coldfield. The other thing I must say, I'm wearing these earphones. I don't know why, because I can't actually hear anything and nobody's speaking to me, so I'll take them off. But right, you can see I have to put my hearing aids down here because the earphones, they hurt. I normally use a Bluetooth streamer that takes digital content and plays them directly wirelessly into the hearing aids I've got. But it stopped working, so I had to send it off to the menders. And that the people who do it are Starkey UK, Starkey Instruments, hearing aid manufacturers, and they are brilliant. But these ones, this is an old one now because one's gone back to be repaired, and this one is one of my new ones, and they are brilliant. They are really, they're so good. When they were fitted on the day that they were fitted, I'll just show you. They're small, so this is the. I mean, my hearing loss is. Yeah, my hearing loss is massive, really. Without hearing aid, I can't hear any. I just can't hear a single thing, except for a loud noise. Yeah, and but with these hearing aids, I could hear things I haven't heard in 40 years. I could hear birdsong. That's for the first time in 40 years. And then within about half an hour, I was thinking, why the fuck haven't I got a gun? But I can't. And the strangest thing is that I can hear from further away, which you think, well, it is mostly a good thing. But I was doing a gig, and the compere was in the next room, No, sort of thing. That sounds wrong. He was in the main room doing the comedy, and I was on next, and I was having a last minute wee just before I was introduced, which is another story. That's awful. It's a deaf comedian being introduced. It's always the biggest stress factor. If you can't see them in places and theatres and stuff, it's just a stressful nightmare. But that's another story. But so anyway, the compere was on, and laughter to me sounds a bit like this. If I can make that's what it sounds like. And so I'm waiting to go on, and that was all I could hear. I'm having a wee. Oh my god. So what I'm thinking with my comics brain is he's getting such massive laughs. They love him so much that when I go out there, I'm going to absolutely just die on my ass. I can't follow that. They're going to hate me. Turns out what's happening was when I was having a wee, I was leaning backwards and it was activating the hand dryer behind me. So so all of these things lead me to try and put things into perspective. I'm freelance. We're getting bugger all from everybody else is having 80% of their wages paid. We're having 80% of fuck all. And so there are other ways to try and make I don't know any other ways of trying to make a living, and probably make thousands from doing this, I would imagine. But I'm walking dogs for people and whatever, but I do that gratis anyway. So we shall see. Anyway, I've been wittering up. This is my first go, and it's been great. But I haven't invited any guests yet because I didn't want to embarrass people by making them appear on something that was going to be shit. So this is just me trying out the technology and whether I can use the laptop or not. Which surprisingly, I got this far. Really, to be honest, I mean, I could be down. I could be down Tesco's pretending to work for the NHS to get my stockpiling in early. Actually, I'm saying that I went local, Boldmere, which is about a mile away. It says a walk, but it's not too far. I'm going to walk 20 minutes to go to the butcher's because there was no meat in Aldi and Iceland, our local places. So I walked around there, and I was the only customer in the butcher's shop, which was amazing. And of course, you have to let the butcher do his well-rehearsed comedy routine first, which is a bit of a pain, but it's okay. Come on, get the jokes out of the way, and your butcher jokes sort of thing. And I'm a comic for a living, so I don't start with a bit of butchery, do I? Anyway, I get on with it, mate. And I bought stuff. I got some mince and sausages and stuff, and a bit of ribeye steak. And I tell you what, it's fucking expensive. That's probably why there was no one in the shop. But butchers, they're a different breed, aren't they? So, but shop local. That's what I was going to say. Anyway, I'm going to wind up in a minute. Just as I say, this is just a test, and it makes you feel so self-conscious. This has been more stressful than doing my first open spot back in on July the 4th, 1998. That seems like a while ago, when the world had limitless possibilities, and you could go closer than 6 feet to people. But in some ways, the comedian lifestyle is like that you spend all day on your own, and which is great, and then drive to a gig on your own, and that's great, and then just for 20 minutes a day stand in front of people and try and make them laugh. And so it's only that 20 minutes a day that's really any different for me. So doing this is a bit like that. just 20 minutes of utter bollocks, and then but because I'm missing that, I'm afraid that I'm doing so many gigs and then not doing any, I'm gonna get rusty. So what I decided to do was just go in my car Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and just drive to random places and back, and just to keep my hand in on the pointless. So if anybody watches, thank you so much, and you'll be able to say, like the people who watched the first ever BBC television broadcast, that you watched the first ever edition of I forgot what I call it now. Splendid Isolation, with Steve Day, and anybody who wants to appear or whatever and be funnier than me, and I'll tell you what, it's not going to be hard, but just drop me a line, a PM or whatever you call it, and I can send you an invite or whatever. You can be on, and you can be showing off your comedy skills to the 4 people that I've got now, who are absolutely at the very edge, the very cutting edge of the very cutting edge of audience participation. The first ever Edinburgh show I did was in 2001, and it was called Deaf in the Afternoon, and I really didn't know if I could do it. It was just really like my sort of life story and a few deaf jokes and stuff, but it was heartfelt, and honest, and nobody else. There weren't really any disabled comedians when I first started in '98, and not many by 2001. And I did this show, and I didn't know what to expect. It was at the underbelly when it didn't cost a fortune. They let you do it for free. And 4 people turned up, and they liked it so much that after the show they came out with me and helped me flyer on the high street in Edinburgh, which was just lovely. A family, just one family, and it was so lovely, and it really made me think, oh, that's so nice. And then the next day I had 8 people, and it was just a joy, because I've doubled my numbers. And then the next day after, within a couple of days after that, I had 16, and every show after, the capacity was only about 50 people, and for most of the rest of the run it was nearly sold out. And cool, that was 20 years 20 years ago nearly. So it just shows you, just start small, speak from the heart, tell the truth, and anybody, it doesn't matter if who cares if people like it or not. It's just your thing, and so I'm going to sign off now, and hopefully every day 7 o'clock, I'll be given jobs, so probably, sometimes it might be a bit later and all that, and I'll try and find a bow tie for next time. Thanks for watching Splendid Isolation. You've been brilliant, and I've been Steve. Okay, cheers, good night.